Hello and welcome to Creator Weekly for December 21st, 2025. I'm Peggy Kay. This week there's a bunch of updates from YouTube, updates from Instagram, Twitch, edits, Adobe Firefly, and a bunch more. Thank you for joining me today. I can't believe it, but it is the final episode for 2025. I'll be taking a holiday next Sunday and I'll be back the first Sunday in January. And it's the first day of winter today. I hope you are enjoying your winter solstice and your holiday break. So let me get started. There are a bunch of YouTube updates this week. I think they wanted to get out all this information before the end of the year. So the first update I want to talk about is a new preferred language setting. You can set one or multiple languages that are your preferred languages, and then that applies to dubs, including the automatic dubbing, titles, and descriptions. So this is in response to feedback from a lot of people who said they didn't want YouTube just assuming what languages they were interested in seeing their videos in. And YouTube was doing that based on location and what people usually watch and so forth. So on desktop, you can find this setting by going into your YouTube settings, click your profile icon at top right and choose the settings option. And then go to the playback and performance settings, and you will see that there is a language setting there now. And when you do that, it pops up. There's a huge list of languages. Pick the languages that are your preferred languages and select them and save. Once you do that, YouTube will show you videos in those languages in their original language instead of automatically switching to the translation or the dub. You can also change this setting in the YouTube mobile app. Just go to the U icon. That's clicking your profile icon again, but it's at bottom right in the app, and then click the settings gear there, and you can choose languages, click preferred languages, and again, there'll be a long list of languages you can select from, select your languages, and click save. And just a funny note that this list of languages seems to have been, I don't know where they got it from, seems to include everything, every language, lots of languages that are probably not used on YouTube. For example, it lists American Sign Language. I don't know how American Sign Language videos would be dubbed. Who knows? You can also choose Klingon. My guess is that there are, in fact, videos on YouTube in Klingon, but those are not eligible for automatic dubbing, at least not yet. There's more Klingon speakers, maybe so. The other really nice update, at least for me, is that you can create clips from your long form videos in YouTube Studio. So in YouTube Studio on desktop, click the video, go to your content list, click the video, and on the left menu, there will be a clips option. And if you have these videos in a podcast playlist, so it's a podcast, then there will be a new AI-powered suggested clips list. You can see this from one of my videos, and this is available currently for creators in the US and Canada. So I think I'm probably going to try using this now, where you can go in and create clips from your longer episodes, you can also do it by editing the text, selecting and editing the text. So this is a nice feature, again, only available to videos that are in a podcasts playlist. I suspect YouTube may expand access to this eventually, but for right now, that's the only option. Also, a nice update for creators, YouTube is expanding access to channel guidelines and bringing them to communities. So all channels that have access to intermediate and advanced features, you can check that in YouTube Studio in the settings. You can create guidelines, 3 rules. And the first time someone posts a comment or posts in the live chat, they'll see these rules and have to agree to them. It's supposed to make things more civil, and you can kind of set the tone for the discussion. If you want to see if you have this option, and you should soon, you can find the setting in YouTube Studio on desktop, and then go to the channel settings and click the channel guidelines tab to configure this for yourself. So this is now, of course, there's going to be more AI-powered updates. You may be aware that Google has a platform called Portraits. And the update is that a small group of YouTube creators are joining Portraits. So what is Portraits? It's an AI experiment that lets you have a conversation with the AI version of a real person based on their writing and their other works. You can see, if you go to the Portraits site in Google Labs, they're all considered like coaches. So, learn about storytelling, things like that. So if you are at least 18 years old and in the US and watching YouTube on desktop, you may see the option to talk to the creator's portrait on participating creators' channels. And then you can engage with that chatbot, you can ask questions, you can explore topics related to their content. Now, they did not list which creators are participating, so keep your eyes open and see. My guess is that it's going to be more educational kind of creators, because that's more fitting for the kinds of things that they're using Portrait for. It's an experiment. If you like it, if you don't like it, be sure to send feedback. All right, a quick update. Again, this is AI powered. There are now comment summaries in the YouTube Studio mobile app. So you go to the video's comments section in the app, and you may see a Get summary section. I think this may only appear if there's a lot of comments, and it's limited which countries have access to it, but the idea is then you can read a summary of what people are talking about the video. You kind of get a sense of the vibe. I don't get enough comments on my videos for that to be really helpful, but if you get hundreds or thousands of comments, I can see that would be useful. So now we're going to talk about a couple updates to posts. So posts you can usually find on the community tab or the post tab on someone's channel. You may see them on the YouTube homepage or when you're scrolling through your feeds. The first update is that Nano Banana. That's Gemini 2.5 flash image. You can see why they call it Nano Banana, because the other is just a mouthful. This is coming to YouTube posts in the US, Canada, New Zealand, and India in English. And you can use Nano Banana to edit your image posts. So this is available in the main YouTube app when you add an image to your post and you click the edit button, this is an example of what you could do. The person has a photo of themselves, and there's like piles of clothing by them, so they say they want to edit, and the prompt is remove the laundry. Nano Banana then goes in and removes the laundry and keeps the rest of the image the same. If you use this, you will have a made with AI label on the image, so people will know it was edited with the AI. It's kind of an interesting philosophical thing where if you did the same edits using Photoshop, it wouldn't be labeled. Where's the line? But that's a discussion for another day. So if you use posts, give Nano Banana a try. There's a second update for posts. YouTube is experimenting with showing image posts in the Shorts feed. Normally the Shorts feed is, well, it's Shorts, and also you may see vertical live streams there. So this is just another type of content. There's no guarantee this will roll out broadly. They're experimenting with it. A post can have up to 10 images, so you could tell a whole story that way if you want. And YouTube says they are exploring music with this experience. Kind of reminds me of some of the things they do on Instagram, where you can have a carousel of images with music accompanying, kind of like a slideshow. Should be interesting. So the question is whether people will actually engage with this in the Shorts feed. I'm sure we'll learn more in the new year. Although usually it's like either they launch it or you never hear about it again. YouTube is testing a new location and functionality for the dislike button on Shorts. So there's this confusion where there's like dislike and there's not interested. People use them interchangeably. They're doing some experimenting to see if that can be labeled better. If you're in the experiment and click the thumbs down option under the three-dot menu, you will be shown an optional survey. So is this more confusing, less confusing, useful? Who knows? But YouTube is running these experiments all the time. And truly, if you see something that you like or significantly dislike, be sure to send feedback. So I want to say, first of all, hello to everyone in the chat. It's good to see you all here. I hope you are ready for the holidays. And I'd love to hear what you think about this week's updates. There's a lot coming out. And are these good updates, bad updates? Are you going to try them out over the holidays? That's what I want to hear. So the other thing I wanted to mention is there is a new feature for Twitch. This is a new moderation role. There is a lead moderator role now, and a lead moderator can do all the same things as a regular moderator, except that they can also add and remove other mods and update the moderation settings. And I got a reminder when I visited the YouTube app this morning that YouTube has a slightly similar role. There are managing moderators on YouTube, and it's slightly different. You can, let me see, I need to pull up that screenshot. Well, I can't find it. Anyway, you can appoint a managing moderator. They can change some of the settings for moderation, but they cannot add other moderators, I don't believe. Let me switch back. And this next update is sort of took me by a surprise just a little bit. This is a new video editor from Adobe. It's the Firefly video editor. It's in beta. It's a browser-based video editor. And let's see. Excuse me. If you open it up, you see you can choose one of the most, popular formats for your video. It does vertical, it does portrait in different dimensions. And you can, of course, have generated clips generated by Firefly. You can add music tracks, and then you can add your own video clips as well. And it's kind of nice that YouTube has, that the Adobe Firefly video editor lets you combine these clips, and then it has a detailed timeline like many other video editing tools. So you can edit by the timeline, or if you have interviews or other talking heads, you can edit using the text transcript. I'll say there's a bunch of other Firefly updates this week. There's prompt to edit controls to let you make precision edits using Firefly, so you can tell Firefly just change this one little thing. The Firefly video model lets you upload a reference video to show the camera motion you want. And there is integration with Topaz Astra. That's a model that lets you upscale low resolution clips to high definition. Jolyn says, I'll give Firefly a try, but I'm doing rather well with Camtasia. Yeah, there are a lot of video editing options now, and I think you just need to find the one that has the features that you want to use. And Diego asks, I'm guessing Firefly requires a license like Premiere Pro. So my understanding, both from reading and from playing with it, is that Firefly does not require any kind of license or paid subscription, but if you are using it for free, you're limited to how many AI generations you can use. So they have paid plans, and the difference between the paid plans is how much you can generate. I think Adobe's running a special deal now. If you have certain plans, you can do unlimited generations for the next couple months. They really want people to give this a try. But the Adobe Firefly video editor, it's free to use. I think it'd be interesting to see if you can use it with just all your own, video clips. It's probably not very advanced, but it could be a decent browser-based video editor. So it's all about the AI, right? This is StreamYard, a video streaming platform. They have updated their AI clips tool. This makes clips from the recording of your live stream. You can say, clip that during your live stream, and it will actually know that you want the previous 30 seconds to be clipped. And there's full customization controls, and it can process faster. You can also use text prompts to help it find the clips you want. So instead of just hoping you can find it, you can say, well, when I was talking about this particular topic, clip that. So it seems useful. I use Restream instead of StreamYard. It also has an AI clipping tool. Doesn't have these fancy features, though. And at this point, I'll probably just use the ones in YouTube after it's processed. A quick note, TikTok sounds like it finally has gotten a deal to move to US ownership. This law went into effect, I think it was January 20th of this year, and then it, enforcement was postponed. This deal is supposed to be finalized by January 22nd. It's a consortium of US interests. ByteDance, the owner of TikTok, retains 20% ownership. So it's not like it's fully transferred. I'm not sure how this relates to national security. It'd be interesting to see if there are any changes to TikTok from US users if they tweak the algorithm or anything like that. We will find out starting in January. So big news from Instagram is that they launched a TV app. I think they saw people are watching YouTube videos, including shorts, on TV, and now they want to give it a try. They did have a TV app years ago. It's like IGTV, something like that, but this is really super Reels focused. If you sign into the app, the Reels are supposedly grouped according to your interests. And there's also a very basic search. It doesn't sound like there's a way to focus on Reels just from people you're following. They want you to go through the algorithmic feed. It's currently only available for Amazon Fire TV in the US, and it has pretty limited functionality right now. But if you have Amazon Fire TV, you might want to check it out. Check out this week's newsletter. There's a link to the app. Instagram also announced that they were increasing the number of hashtags you can include in a caption on a reel or a post. You can now include 5 hashtags. Kind of surprises me. I think of people, using like 50 hashtags on Instagram, but maybe that was a long time ago. I guess there were limits to like 3 hashtags recently. They say it's better to have fewer hashtags, and the hashtags should be really targeted. Don't put really generic, general hashtags. That's not useful for anyone. The Edits video editing app. This is from Instagram, but it's standalone. You don't have a watermark or anything if you edit your videos this way, and you don't have to connect it to your Instagram account, although that gives you more features. So there's been a bunch of updates to Edits. The first is that it uses Meta's Segment Anything AI model, which basically segments things. So it can identify individual people or objects, and now you can apply filters or special effects to just specific objects in your video, which is pretty cool. The examples they use are labeling items in your outfit. You can outline a person for emphasis. You can blur specific faces, all those things. So that seems like it might be kind of fun to play with. I don't know if there's limits to using the AI tools in the Edits app. I suspect maybe there is. Also new in Edits, more formatted title options, special fonts and sound effects that are nice for the new year, more styles for text and captions, word highlighting and captions to really make certain words stand out. And then new templates in select countries. That's the US, UK, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and Ireland. They're templates you can use. You can remix public reels. If you publish reels, you have to actually opt out to prevent people from remixing them. And they do say they do credit every creator for their work. The app also lets you take notes on stickies, and now you can assemble stickies into a storyboard with teleprompter cues, notes, and so forth. So they're really turning Edits into a useful video editing app. It's meant to rival CapCut, also owned by ByteDance. So it's getting to... Craig says, I thought hashtags were passé. Yeah, I think they are supposedly passé, but people still use them. So it's one of those things where the platforms want to say, well, our search and algorithms are good enough now, you don't need to use hashtags. But I think they do have value, especially if you have a very specific dedicated hashtag for a particular event, or maybe for a specific type of content that lets people find it. That's why it's not that useful to have generic hashtags like, real. No, that's not a useful hashtag. Andrew wants to use rich text formatting in YouTube description. I thought you could, at least you do bold and italic. But the reality is, I think not a lot of people read the descriptions on YouTube videos, so I wouldn't spend a long time formatting them anyway. I have to check that out. I think there's Markdown you can use for really basic formatting, so we'll see. A couple more updates I wanted to mention. So this is interesting. The Gemini app can now tell you if a video has visuals or audio watermarked with Google's SynthID. So if you use any of Google's tools to generate or edit an image or a video, that includes in things like Google Photos and Google Vids and the Gemini app and so forth, it gets this invisible watermark. It can't be removed. Now, if you upload those videos or images to Gemini and say, hey, is any of this AI? It can actually scan it and tell you not only if it's used AI, but if it's a video, which timestamps for both audio and visuals. The downside of this is that it does not seem to detect watermarks that other companies use for their AI tools. The big one is Adobe's content credentials. Adobe has its own tool where you can upload things and ask, if there's watermark on it. And we're still at the point where there's no good way to know for certain if something is AI generated. You can still tell by the quality a lot of times, but quality is getting better. So this is an interesting problem tech companies have. And they're segregated. Google's doing their own thing, Adobe's doing their own thing. They should come together and have one standard that they agree on. And then the last update I wanted to talk about is over on Bluesky. And they have a very interesting way of finding your contacts on Bluesky that protects your privacy. So I'm sure you've all experienced you're on Facebook or LinkedIn or another social site that says, hey, share your contacts and we'll find them here for you. And then basically those platforms have a list of all your contacts. Sometimes they try and contact those people. It's a privacy nightmare. So Bluesky has a different way of doing it. What you do is you opt in, you verify your phone number, right? So it can only be a phone number that you have access to the text messages for. And then you share your contacts. But Bluesky can't read the contacts. Everything is encrypted. There's some sort of cryptographic hash where it pairs up your phone number and your contact's phone number. So my phone number, someone else's phone number, put those two together, do the cryptographic magic on it, and that comes out with a code. Then if that contact also goes to Bluesky and sets us up and verifies their phone number, it can recognize this pair and say, oh, hey, this other person is on. It then sends a text message from your phone number to this person to invite them. So it's interesting because they're going out of their way to make sure that this is useful while at the same time protecting people's privacy. So, and again, you do this, the phone numbers are never actually revealed to Bluesky. It only tells you if there's a match. So again, they're trying to set themselves apart. I'm not sure if I'm going to try this or not. I think for me, the downside is a lot of people who I have in my contacts, I don't necessarily want to match up with them on social media. I mean, I remember back in the days of Google Plus, where of course it was all integrated with your contacts, and I got a pop-up, oh, so-and-so is on Google Plus now, and it was like my dentist. No, I don't care. I don't need that. That was the bad way to do it. So what was happening 10 years ago? All of 2025, I've been celebrating 10 years of the Creator Weekly newsletter by highlighting tech updates. And here we are at the end of the year. This is the last episode. If you're interested, I have a playlist of shorts, so you don't have to watch the full-length videos, are all about 2 minutes long. And I just wanted to end the year with a holiday update. So 10 years ago, Google launched the Santa Tracker and Santa's Village website. This had winter-themed games, holiday traditions from around the world. You could make music. There was a code lab, so sort of a fun way to learn coding. And of course, Christmas Eve, you can track Santa as he goes around the world. This was a competitor to other Santa trackers like the NORAD Santa Tracker that is a little bit more military. And here we are, 10 years later. It's been tweaked a bit. The elves now use bicycles instead of cars, and Santa looks like he's getting electricity from wind turbines and solar panels. And I'm sure the underlying site code has been updated, but most of the games are the same. You can still play games to learn coding, and it will still show you when Santa is arriving where you live. So that's this week's update. You should check this out. It's fun. You can tell exactly when I took this screenshot because there's a timestamp counting down till Christmas Eve. So thank you all for joining me. And I want to say thank you all for being here regularly. It is really important to me that there are people here listening and commenting and hopefully being informed. I really do appreciate all of you. Now, I know Craig says, Santa doesn't mess around. That is absolutely true. You got to be good and make sure you won't get coal in your stocking. So it's the winter solstice. It's the holiday season. I hope all of you have a fantastic holiday, and I will see you all in January. Thank you so much for joining.